Hello and welcome to another Progress Preview show. I'm Jonas from the Wrestling with Jonas podcast. I'm joined as always by my good friend and ring announcer extraordinaire, Mike Mad Dog Angus. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Jonas, absolutely wonderful to see you as always, my friend. We've had a busy week here in Progress HQ preparing ourselves for Super Strong Style. We absolutely can't wait to welcome everyone back to the Electric Ballroom in London. And of course, on the last weekend, you managed to join us in the Electric Ballroom for Chapter 134. It was brilliant to see you briefly and have a little catch up. And I hope you enjoyed the show.
It was fantastic. It was fantastic. Some of the highlights for me, I've got to be honest with you, the RKJ match versus Leon Slater. Man, if you're looking for two stars to kind of rule the British wrestling scene over the next 5-10 years, you've got two fantastic stars there. And what a match they put on, a show stealer. Speaking of show stealers, we had an awesome tables match as well, didn't we? That was absolutely phenomenal. Really, really enjoyed that. I've got to say, match of the night for me was Sunshine Machine versus Smoking Aces. Those two teams have put on 3 classic matches over the last few months at Progress Wrestling. And like I say, we'll talk more in the future about their involvement at Super Strong Style. And that main event, wow. G-Money versus Jonathan Gresham, a lot of shenanigans, which ultimately led to some consequences for Jonathan Gresham. But G-Money got his win in the end by hook or by crook, and he entered himself. After 2.5 long years of trying to get into Super Strong Style, he's finally there, June the 3rd, 4th and 5th. But fill us in on some of your highlights then, Mike.
Yeah, no, as you said, Jonas, that RKJ match, it was absolutely brilliant to see him in the ballroom. And Leon Slater, as we mentioned last week, what a wrestler, they put on a real showcase of a match, and the fans, it was great to see everyone enjoying it so much. The 0121 were all over the show. Leon joined the gang by the looks of things. And then obviously 0121 came out at the end of that tag match, and they're setting up something pretty special for Super Strong Style, which we will obviously mention next week, when I believe we are going to go live as well on our next preview show on Thursday night.
That's right, Mike. So today we're going to be covering Super Strong Style 16, but this is going to be a two-parter, Mike. So today we're going to be looking at some of the entrants for the Super Strong Style tournament itself. We're also going to be looking in a bit of detail about Kanji and her feud and her up-and-coming match with the Progress World Champion Gisele Shaw, of course, which is going to be absolutely amazing. We'll talk more about that later on, including Kanji's fantastic in-ring segment that she gave us all in the ballroom last Sunday at Chapter 134. But I'd say it's going to be a phenomenal conversation we're going to have about Super Strong Style. It's over 3 days, June the 3rd, 4th and 5th, so over that bank holiday weekend. And you are quite right. Next Thursday, the 26th of May, 7 p.m. sharp, we're going live. We will be going live on the Wrestling with Jonas socials. We'll try and go live across Progress socials. Don't miss that out, because we're probably going to get some special guests in as well, Mike. So our lips are sealed for the meantime, but some special guests are scheduled to be joining us to help us cover and hype up Super Strong Style even more. But today we have got a lot to cover then, Mike. And first of all, this is the main graphic. This is what we're here to talk about. Progress is home, the Electric Ballroom in Camden, London, going to be hosting Super Strong Style 16 over them 3 days. Bank holiday weekend, Friday the 3rd, Saturday the 4th, Sunday the 5th of June. And it's going to be a phenomenal 3 days. And as was announced just a few days ago, because of the situation that happened at Chapter 134, with Gresham being stripped of his title, the World Championship, the Progress World title, is now vacant, now in abeyance, and it will be fought for. The winner of Super Strong Style 16 2022 will now become the new Progress World Champion. So some breaking news just a couple of days ago, Mike. Give us your thoughts and reactions to that bit of news.
Well, Jonas, the shenanigans from Lycos Gym led to Jonathan Gresham being stripped of the title. And as you know, it has become vacant. It is the biggest prize in Progress Wrestling. And, everybody who takes part in Super Strong Style 16 is going to want to win that. But, Jonas, I've got a little surprise for you today, because I don't like to let you down, mate. So with us right here, for it's making its debut on the Wrestling with Jonas podcast.
Wow. Hello.
Progress World Championship.
Hello.
So that is what they are all fighting for at Super Strong Style. This is it. It's in the Progress vaults right here on the Wirral. Been taken out especially for this moment, Jonas.
That's awesome. I'm blessed. I am blessed. I am privileged. I am humbled. That's amazing to have the Progress World Championship on this very show. But that's awesome, Mike. Thank you so much. Shall we take a deep dive into some of the entrants that we know have qualified for Super Strong Style 16 for this year, then, Mike? First of all, I just want to say. It could potentially be the next holder. But first of all, I just want to mention, I'm sure you'll back me up on this, it's such a prestigious tournament, isn't it? And like I say, it's been going for a number of years now. You probably know more than me.
Yes, since about 2015, Jonas, and we've had some absolutely amazing tournaments and competitors in it, in the past. Tommaso Ciampa, Zack Sabre Jr., obviously Pete Dunne, Chris Hero, some absolutely amazing wrestlers who we're sure you know, Walter, Ilya Dragunov, Cameron Grimes, even Darby Allin has taken part in Super Strong Style before. Yes. So, and this year's lineup is looking absolutely stacked. We've got some absolutely amazing talent, and I know, John, as you've watched back through the history, watched a lot of the matches and everything, same as me. I'm sure you've got a few of your favourites yourself, but let's run through who we've got, who's going to be appearing this year, and see what we think. Make some predictions, maybe.
The first graphic I'm going to bring up is probably going to be one of the favourites from Word Go, but he hasn't been seen in the Progress Ring for a few chapters, so people might have forgotten that he's actually an entrant in Super Strong Style 16. But Chris Ridgway. I mean, come on, when you talk about cream of the crop, A-list talent on the UK scene, on the worldwide scene, he's got a long-standing relationship with Progress Wrestling. We know that. But Chris Ridgway is the first guy we're going to talk about today. He's performed all over the UK. He's recently won tag titles over in Japan. He's doing the business, and it is what it says on the tin when it comes to Ridgway. He's as hard as F, and I'm not going to swear on this podcast, but. Anybody that gets into the ring with him knows they've had a contest, knows they've had a fight. And I'm thinking back to chapter 127 when he had that World Championship match against Cara Noir. Those two beat the living hell out of one another. It was a phenomenal contest that went close to 40 minutes, I believe. And both men knew that they'd had a battle of their lives when the bell rang at the end of that. That was, I think, a 3 out of 5 falls match, wasn't it? That was a phenomenal contest. But Chris Ridgway, our first entrant into Super Strong Style 16 on this preview show. Mike, tell us about Chris and how well do you think he's going to fare in Super Strong Style this year?
Well, I've known Chris Ridgway for a long time. He's what must be about 28 years old now, and he's been in the wrestling business for a long time. What a great fighter and wrestler. Some of the best technical and hard-hitting wrestling matches I've seen in the UK have involved Chris Ridgway against the likes of Dean Allmark. That match that you just mentioned against Cara Noir, one of my absolute favourite Progress matches I've ever seen. He is Smash Mouth. He is hard as FC UK, and he is Northwest strong. Ridgway cannot be denied in this tournament. He's going to march in there, and anyone who takes him on, is going to know they've had a match with Chris Ridgway. So I'm looking forward to when the brackets get revealed in the next week or so, and we can find out who he's going to be facing, in his first match. And I think we can start praying for them then, really.
Well, this is it, and I think the theme of this evening, Mike, is we're going to be looking at some real cream of the crop when it comes to UK talent, the best of the best. They wouldn't be in Super Strong Style if they weren't the best of the best. And I think we talk about Chris Ridgway and all of his credentials, all of his accomplishments, and his amazing ability in the ring, and how much punishment he can inflict on his opponents. any day of the week.
Did you know, Johns, as well?
Go on.
He has actually appeared in Super Strong Style before. He was knocked out in the first round in I think 2018 by Kyle O'Reilly. So he's well versed in the tournament. He's been in it before, albeit at a younger age, and obviously since then he's come on leaps and bounds. He leads Northwest strong. He's just gained so much knowledge, always learning, always getting better. I wouldn't be surprised to see him, progress in this tournament.
Absolutely. And I think one thing that we need to remember is this is going to be a tournament format as well, Mike. So it's not just about giving us one great match. It's about performing over 3 nights, getting to the final, and being that victor at the very end on Sunday, the 5th of June. So it's all about the guy that can last, that can go the distance, and that can wrestle in this tournament format over 3 nights. It's going to be utterly fascinating. How about this guy?
3 days. 4 matches in 3 days that is a lot for any human's body to take. But when you're fighting the style Ridgeway does, it's it'll be interesting to see.
100%. Malik, no stranger to the Progress faithful, and he's had a pretty good year, pretty good 2022 in a Progress ring, and I believe he faced Jonathan Gresham, didn't he, at Everything Pattern London at the 10th anniversary week, and that was a hell of a show, a great match. But he's had a bit of an ongoing feud with Danny Black this year in a Progress ring, so he's had some meaty opponents and meaty storylines to get his teeth into in 2022, and he really is becoming a bit of a standout name in on the Progress roster. And like I say, a deserved entrant into Super Strong Style this year, Mike. I think Malik is definitely going to pose a threat.
I would say so. And as always, he's always got Costas with him as well, who's always mouthing off and causing trouble. So, very reminiscent of a Del Boy sort of character, I would say. I'm sure he'll appreciate me saying that. And of course, Malik, he really held his own against Jonathan Gresham. And Gresham, at one point, it did look like he had the potential to steal the title away from Gresham there. So, don't discredit Malik. He's a great talent, very talented wrestler, speedy guy. And, I wouldn't be surprised to see him do very well also in the tournament. So, someone I'm looking forward to seeing how he excels there. And hopefully he won't cause too much trouble for himself with people like Danny Black. When Danny was in the crowd, he managed to cause himself a match with him. So it's normally, it's not his fighting that gets him in trouble. It's normally his mouth or his manager's mouth that gets him the most problem.
It's the manager's mouth, absolutely. If I was Malik, I'd be keeping one eye over my shoulder when it comes to Costas, because I think he gets involved in more trouble than he's worth sometimes. But I think the first time I was introduced to Malik was actually in a Progress tournament about 3 years ago. Now, Malik was an entrant in the NPS Natural Progression Series in 2019. So when he was kind of like breaking into the Progress ranks, and he performed very, very well. So he's familiar with the tournament format within a Progress ring. So that probably gives him a little bit of an advantage to some of the other entrants. I'll be keeping one very keen eye on Malik, because he might be one of those that's bubbling under the surface, but he could be one of those, given a stroke of luck or two, that could go all the way.
Yeah, and I wouldn't. I'd watch out for Costas for sure as well. If he's with him, that's you've got that added bonus of having him on the outside with distractions and causing trouble. So, it'd be really interesting to see how that develops.
100%. And a guy that we've seen quite a lot of inside a Progress ring of late, Mike, Big Damo, back over here on the UK shores. And he is tearing up the scene up and down the country, and none more so inside a Progress ring. We see him do very well in the Atlas tournament, the Atlas title tournament just last month. It only seemed a short while ago, and that was, of course, the championship that Luke Jacobs ran away with at the end and kind of won and defended at Chapter 134 just last Sunday. But Big Damo, he's going to be a big threat in Super Strong Style 16 this year, Mike. I think he's got the pedigree. He's got the experience. He's got the chops in the ring. He really does have the pedigree inside that squared circle. I think Big Damo is probably the most experienced entrant in this year's tournament. And I would say when you're talking about potential finalists, Big Damo could be there.
You're right, John. As he's 6'4". He's been in the WWE in the past as Killian Dane, obviously Insanity. He's fought some of the biggest wrestlers in the world, the likes of Drew McIntyre, Shinsuke Nakamura, Speedball Mike Bailey. He's had some amazing matches all over the place. And when he came back to Progress, it was absolutely brilliant to welcome him back there. He put on a show. He had some great matches, and he even tagged again with Axel Tischer as well, which was a marvelous moment to see those guys back together, tagging, and the fluidity of them and how they tagged together was absolutely brilliant to see. The chemistry between those guys is, it's something you can't teach. It's, very natural. And Damo, another thing you can't teach is being 6'4" tall and built like a,
Built like a tank.
He's Irish. He can be angry on occasions. I think, I see him, doing brilliant things in this tournament, and somebody is going to take a beating from the Irish Beast. So, I'm firmly behind him. I had a good chat to him the other week, and he's out there to try and bring that gold home. So we'll see.
Absolutely, and he's a wrestler that means business. And when you've got all of his experience and all of his credentials and what he's capable of in that ring in terms of demolishing his opponents, it's scary to think that Big Damo could easily run through the competition in super strong style. Yes, like I say, it's that 3-day format, the 4 matches to get to the final, and who has the ability to outlast all the opponents over them 4 matches in 3 days. Big Damo, a big name on the super strong style list. It'll be interesting to see when the brackets come out, Mike, exactly how that pans out for Big Damo.
Definitely, Jonathan. You definitely can't count him out. Big guy, great wrestler, and anyone who comes up against him in the tournament is, should be fearing for their lives, basically.
Absolutely. And I neglected to mention at the beginning of this broadcast, Mike, that tickets are still available for Super Strong Style 16. You can get a weekend pass, I believe, or individual days simply by going to progresswrestling.com/tickets. But tell us a bit more about some of the tickets and the packages that are available, Mike.
Yeah, that's it. So we've got weekend packages available for all 3 days. Also, we've got you can get your individual tickets, as you mentioned, Jonas. The Friday is a bank holiday, so you don't have to worry about work. And I also believe the Thursday's a bank holiday now as well, so you can go out and have a few drinks the night before, get your cooked brekkie or whatever it is you have, and then get yourselves down to Progress. There's a bank holiday. Loads of people are going to be off work, enjoying themselves. And, there's going to be all sorts of tourists in London. Make sure if you're visiting at that time, this is the time to come and visit. Check out a wrestling show, and you're not going to want to miss it. On the first day, obviously, these guys we're talking about now, we're going to have the first round matches on the Friday. And, everybody who's mentioned is going to be wrestling on that show. So it's going to be brilliant. Can't wait.
It really is. It really is. Now, the next guy I'm going to bring up, I can just hear now audible groans and sighs and boos, and that is Kid Lycos. Now, for anybody that knows what happened or was there in the ballroom this past Sunday, Chapter 134 would know that he got involved in the main event, as we mentioned earlier on, and was the reason why the World Championship was stripped from Jonathan Gresham's grasp and is now become vacant for this tournament. And of course, G Money pins Kid Lycos in the main event of Sunday's show, but he finds himself as an entrant into this year's Super Strong Style tournament, Mike. Kid Lycos, he's a very, very experienced, accomplished athlete and competitor. Obviously, once upon a time, a part of CCK. Now he's part of Lycos Gym with Kid Lycos 2. They've had many appearances in 2022 in a Progress ring and doing fantastic stuff. A great tag team, but individually, great performers. And Kid Lycos will be another one to watch. But one thing that's not sitting well with me is I think, he could do well, but possibly because of the shenanigans. And we saw plenty of those on Sunday, Mike. Kid Lycos, how do you think he's going to fare? Is he going to bring the baking tray with him? There probably will be some shenanigans. What do you think?
Yeah, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if there was some shenanigans, but I just hope he can keep his head and actually showcase what he can do, because what an amazing talent and amazing wrestler Kid Lycos is. I've seen him for a very long time, and he is great, but he's not endeared himself to the Progress faithful whatsoever. There are numerous profanity-littered chants as soon as he enters any arena. He causes havoc for himself. It doesn't help the Kid Lycos too. Is there also, it's just chaos that follows them wherever they go. They're always trying to plan some sort of dastardly scheme that doesn't always go well for them. It can backfire on them. And I think for Lycos to enter into Super Strong Style 16, he just needs to remember that he is a great wrestler and that he needs to concentrate on wrestling and not on the shenanigans, because it's the baking trays flying about, it's the powdering faces, it's always those plans that backfire on him, in a Dick Dastardly and Muttley sort of style way. Yeah. Best of luck to him. But I think I don't know if we'll see Jonathan Gresham back in a Progress ring, but I'll tell you what, he's certainly going to be looking out for Lycos on the scene. If they ever bump into each other, there's definitely going to be trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing you can always be guaranteed of when Kid Lycos is around, with Kid Lycos too, is there's always going to be something interesting that's going to happen, and controversial usually, a lot of shenanigans, and as you said, quite often it backfires. But he has found his way into Super Strong Style 16. Many would say a worthy entrant into the tournament. Like I say, individually as a competitor, as an in-ring athlete, he is definitely worthy of being in there, and I think we'll see some amazing action from Kid Lycos on the 3rd, 4th and 5th of June over Super Strong Style weekend. But Mike, we want to talk about Kanji, and more specifically Kanji and her up-and-coming World Championship match against Gisele Shaw over Super Strong Style weekend. Now, we're obviously aware that they had a terrific feud in the Peckham era, and of course Kanji was the first ever winner of the first ever women's Thunder Bastard match, which entitled her to a Progress Women's World Championship match. She had the series of matches with Gisele Shaw during the Peckham Theatre, which was really, really close. All 3 matches were highly emotional, highly physical, but Kanji managed to outlast Gisele Shaw, winning 2 matches to 1 over them 3 matches, and became the Progress Women's World Champion. And Kanji's spirit and fight and just ability in the ring is something to behold. I've had Kanji on my podcast. A really inspirational, fantastic character, an amazing wrestler. Many call her the female Ridgeway because of how hard she hits. But I think the courage and the fight of Kanji has given her a place in Progress Wrestling fans' hearts. I'm sure you'll agree. Unfortunately, as we know, Kanji had to vacate the Women's Championship, and she's had some niggling injuries. But she did win the 2nd ever women's Thunder Bastard match as well, Mike. I think that was chapter 128, or fairly early on in 2022 with the return of the fans. So she is the #1 contender to Gisele Shaw's World Championship. But this past Sunday, chapter 134, Kanji did come out and she did speak to the fans with her heart on her sleeve about the trials and tribulations and the journey that she's been on with Progress. Should we take a quick look at that, Mike?
This is Progress. I started a legacy in this company, and fate hasn't really given me the chance to continue that legacy. But please don't mistake my absence for loss of courage or spirit, because never once have I ever doubted my name. I debuted here in the Peckham days, and I became your first and only ever woman to win the Thunder Bastard match. Myself and Gisele Shaw we then went on and had the whole world watching progress with our best of 3 series, and in the end I became your women's progress champion. Thank you. And then fate intervened, and with dignity I hung my head and I gave up the Progress Women's Championship because I was unable to be the fighting champion that I'd promised. I believe the legacy of the Progress Women's Championship deserved more, and I believe the women of Progress deserved so much more. I know when Gisele won the title, she had me come out and hand her the title over just to turn her back to me. And then when I returned, it seemed like history repeated itself, because I came back and I became the winner of the Thunder Bastard match again. I became your #1 contender again. And I think it's about time that history repeated itself one more time. So I'm here today to announce that at Super Strong Style 16, I am cashing in my #1 contenders match, and I am challenging Gisele Shaw to a 2 out of 3 championship match for my title. Do you know what I'm going to say again? You can ask Cara Noir who the 5-star top girl is. You can ask Ridgway who the 5-star top girl is. You can ask Driller who the 5-star top girl is. I ain't got nothing else to lose. Progress, I am yours, and I'm here to say, I'm here to fight, and I'm here to bring that title back home. Gisele Shaw can call herself the Dragon, but my name is Kanji, and I am the Dragon Slayer.
Mike, there we go. It brings back so many memories of what an awesome show that was on Sunday, chapter 134, and so many awesome memories of that very passionate promo there from Kanji, bringing us right up to speed. And she laid down her challenge to the Dragon, to the women's champion Gisele Shaw for Super Strong Style. Give us your thoughts, my friend.
Yeah, of course, Kanji, absolutely great wrestling talent, and what a promo there, speaking from the heart. And she said she's the Dragon Slayer. She's going to have to be if she wants to beat Gisele Shaw again. The win-loss record at the moment is in Kanji's favour, but that's in front of an audience which was a camera crew, and in that Peckham era, in the Theatre Peckham. Now it's a whole different ball game when you're in front of those fans in the Electric Ballroom. Will the nerves get to Kanji? she seems like a tough fighter. I don't think it necessarily will, but both of these competitors have come through some challenges. Obviously, Kanji winning the Thunder Bastard against the likes of Sky Smithson, Session Moth Martina, Lorna Austin.
Yeah.
And as well, Gisele, in the meantime, has been, picking up victory after victory, against the likes of Alexis Falcon, Sky Smithson, really tough opponents. And, these two are on a collision course, and it's all going to happen at Super Strong Style 16. So, I can't wait to see that match. And I know that they're both going to put it all on the line. And, both of them are going to want to walk away with that Progress World Women's Championship as well. So.
Absolutely. You can't deny Kanji's passion. And obviously she's had a lot of time to reflect and a lot of time to think about Gisele Shaw. And they have been bitter rivals. Regardless of who Gisele defends her title against, chapter after chapter, Kanji must always be in the back of Gisele Shaw's mind. But let's not underestimate the champion, because she's a champion for a reason. One of the very best performers, competitors in the world, regardless of gender, doing fantastic things for Progress and all over the world. But she is the Progress Women's World Champion for a reason. She is outstanding, and I think Kanji is going to have to put up the fight of her life to dethrone the champion, to dethrone Progress's Dragon Gisele Shaw. And I think that is going to be one hell of a match to keep your eye on over Super Strong Style 16 weekends in June the 3rd, 4th and 5th. But any final thoughts, any final words on these two? Because the more I think about it, and just going back to their Peckham Theatre feud as well, and their championship was decided over 3 matches, and their match at Super Strong Style is going to be 2 out of 3 falls. So they seem to like the kind of 3-match or 3-fall format. But who do you think it's going to fall in the favour of?
Well, it's so befitting of that feud. And, initially it was Ginny who had to drop the belt, unfortunately, who set up the initial match. And the initial series of matches of the Peckham era, which it really did capture the heart and souls of everybody watching, and it drew so many people in to watch during that period of time. Those matches were absolutely breathtaking, awesome, really, really great stuff. And obviously, Kanji, she wears her heart on her sleeve, like we said, but she's going against the quintessential diva, Gisele Shaw. Impact Wrestling, she's all over the planet Earth, wrestling all the time. And Kanji, it's going to be a tough one for her to take that belt away, but we'll have to see, can she do it? And she said she's the Dragon Slayer, and she is going to have to slay the dragon if she wants to win. So we'll have to see.
Absolutely. And stay tuned to the very end of this broadcast with myself and Mike, because you will see a promotional video that Progress recently dropped on their YouTube and all of their socials, featuring Kanji as the Dragon Slayer. And that's one you do not want to miss. So stick around to the very end. We'll play that to close out this broadcast. But Mike, back to the Super Strong Style 16 tournament. And we've got 4 more competitors to talk about. And a guy that seems to have fallen into the Progress Faithful's heart and did really, really well at Chapter 134. You might not have been familiar with him before Sunday, but now everybody's talking about Maggot. And from the entrance to the face paint, to the grit and the determination and the fight in that ring against 3 other WXW roster members. There was Axel Tischer, there was Jörn Simmons, and there was Bobby Guns, of course, the Smoke Show. But Maggot outlasted his 3 competitors in that qualifier. And Maggot's now a favourite of the Progress fans, and rightly so. He's the current WXW Shotgun champion. And I think the crowd are going to be cheering this guy all the way. So Maggot, I've become a fan of Maggot since that match, and I'm sure you have too as well, Mike.
That the second his music hit and he stepped out from that curtain and strutted out. I did not see that coming at all. It was it was amazing, and straight away the whole ballroom lit up and we're absolutely behind him from the moment he started wrestling there.
Yeah,
I know, and he's a great wrestler. I'd heard mention of him being really good from one of the guys he works with as a Progress. Ross had mentioned that he'd seen him at WXW. He beat AC Romero, I believe, in a match, and he's been a sort of 8-year mainstay at WXW and all around Germany and the continent of Europe. So he's definitely someone I was excited to see appear in a Progress ring, and he did not disappoint. What a brilliant match that was. Big shout out as well to the other competitors in that one. Axel Tischer, brilliant as always. Jern Simmons, really, really impressive. And Bobby Guns, as well. So entertaining. And those guys put on such a showcase. What representatives they are for WXW. And it was amazing to have them in London wrestling for us. And of course, Maggot, came out as a victor there. And he is going to be in Super Strong Style 16. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go all the way, because he's got the moves. He's got the strut. He is such a character. And of course, the Progress faithful were right behind him from the start, which, they don't normally want people that quickly. But certainly, Maggot was just, he's that, he's a very likable guy. He's, from Frankfurt, Germany. And he was, he put on a show. And I'm sure he's going to put on a show at Super Strong Style 16.
Yeah, absolutely. And just harking back to that match on Sunday, chapter 134, he wasn't the biggest competitor in that ring out of the four. In fact, he was quite clearly the smallest, but his grit, his fight, his determination, and the fan support pulled him through. And like I say, he's a great athlete and proved that on Sunday. And I think he's going to surprise a lot of people and prove it again at Super Strong Style, June the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We'll see how far he gets. But what one person I'm particularly interested in watching at the Electric Ballroom, Mike, is this guy here, Robbie X. Like I say, making his Super Strong Style debut over June Bank Holiday weekend. And I had Robbie X on my podcast a few months ago, a great guy. And he's been in the business 15 years and he's still only in his mid-20s. What he hasn't done in the wrestling business on the UK scene isn't worth mentioning, to be honest with you, because he's literally done everything, won everything, and fought everybody. And he's going to be an entrant in Super Strong Style 16 this year. And when you talk about exciting, athletic, dynamic wrestlers, pretty much anywhere, any continent, Robbie X has always got to be on that list. What he can't do in that ring isn't worth mentioning. He's high-flying, dynamic, and he's going to wow the audience in Camden in June. But Robbie X, part of Super Strong Style 16, Mike.
Yeah, out of Lincoln, the innovator of excellence. I've seen Robbie wrestle a lot of times, and he always just show-stopping. You can just, some of the stuff that guy can do is just absolutely insane. Definitely one of the best sort of high-flying, and gymnastic skills that he possesses. It's just, you just don't see anything like it anywhere else at all. I remember the very first time I ever ring announced Robbie X was on the show, and he was some of the stuff I saw him doing, the head flips and head flicks and everything. He was, the cartwheels, all sorts. He was just, he is something very special. And this, I believe, is his Progress debut. So he's been on World of Sport, but I believe this is a big chance for Robbie X to prove what he can do. And, so many people have seen him wrestle around the UK, are fans of Robbie X. And, he deserves this. And a lot of the fans, when we said, who do you want to be in Super Strong Style? Robbie X was that name that kept coming up. Robbie X, we want Robbie X in Super Strong Style. Well, he's got his chance. You've got your wishes. They've come true. And he is going to be there. Make sure you are too. And check out, see if he can do it.
Absolutely. And just harking back to my interview with Robbie X, he said that working for Progress was a bucket list dream for him. So he's not going to take it sitting down. He's going to go out there and prove why he deserves to be in a Progress ring, and he's going to prove why he deserves to be in Super Strong Style, and he's going to make the most of this opportunity. He's going to want to go all the way, especially with the world title on the line for the winner. So that's going to be very, very exciting. We're all chuffed to bits to see Robbie X in a Progress ring at Super Strong Style this coming June. What about this gentleman, Warren Banks, the Nigerian kaiju? He's absolutely tearing it up up and down the UK for every promotion. He's a phenomenal guy. Towers above much of his opposition. I was lucky enough to kind of chat with him backstage at another show a couple of weeks back. A really nice guy, but in that ring, he's a fierce competitor, Mike, and he did very well in the recent Atlas title tournament. I think going out in the semi-final against Luke Jacobs, if I'm not mistaken. So he must be pretty frustrated not to go all the way in that one, and looking to, maybe he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder or something to prove at Super Strong Style, and wanting to prove a point and go two further actually, and walk away with the world title.
Yeah, well, he's an absolute powerhouse, great wrestler, very highly skilled, and he's obviously the Wrestle Island champion, my local promotion. He's he's the champ there, but he is somebody who has progressed so much in the last couple of years since we've come back. He is, he just, every time you see him, he looks more and more a star. He won one of my favourite matches of Progress that we've had this year, the number one contenders match, the Fatal 4-Way. That match was an absolute barnstorm. Oh, so it was a Fatal 4-Way.
Great show, great match.
I didn't even 5 or 6 people in that one. I think it was Jody Fleisch, Maloney, DeReese, and obviously
I think Malik was in there.
Warren Banks as well, and it was a great match, and he obviously won that one, and then from that earned his match against Jonathan Gresham as well, which was at the 10th anniversary show, and he came that close.
Another phenomenal match
to be in the Progress Men's World Champion right then, and now he's got another chance. He's in this Super Strong Style 16 tournament. And, it's going to be tough for anybody to beat him. He's an absolutely brilliant wrestler, as we said. Great guy, as you mentioned, but once he's in that ring, the game face is on, and the Nigerian Kaiju is going to be a Super Strong Style to take that belt away. And, it wouldn't surprise me if he did.
Absolutely. And I believe that 2022 is a real game-changing year for Warren Banks. And I think that the big one is just around the corner for him. And like I say, I think that the stars are all starting to align for Warren Banks. And who knows, it could be Super Strong Style when they align perfectly and he's able to, like I say, go 1 or 2 better than he did in the Atlas tournament, make it through to the final, and prove why 2022 is the Nigerian Kaiju's year. I'm going to wear my heart on my sleeve here and put my money where my mouth is. And I think Warren Banks is my favourite for the tournament so far. But we got many more to talk about over the next, let's say, few minutes, and the next week's live show as well, Mike. But I'm going for Warren Banks at the minute. My mind could change, but Warren Banks is my man as we stand. Speaking of Super Strong Style, we got to talk about the man that's been synonymous with those 3 words over the last 2.5 years. That damn dirty dog, Gene Money. And he's had a roller coaster of a couple of years. The hashtag Gene for Super Strong Style was going strong style all through the last few years, and in particular 2022, Mike. And Gene Money, he was campaigning with the flags, campaigning with the T-shirts, campaigning with the promos, campaigning with the grit and the passion and the fight in that ring. And on Sunday at Chapter 134, he did it. There was shenanigans. That's kind of word of the day for us today. There were shenanigans, but G Money, he did overcome, and he did win that match, and he did qualify himself to Super Strong Style. So that's part 1 ticked off, you could say. But Super Strong Style is a whole other parts that Gene Money has to tick off over them 3 nights. Can he do it? What's your thoughts, Mike?
Well, he campaigned so hard to get into this tournament. He wrestled so hard. He's had some amazing matches, some brilliant wins. And he's there's been a time where I've seen Gene Money and he's been having fun. He's been having a laugh. He's been entertaining the crowd. But you could see in his eyes that he wanted this.
Serious Gene Money.
Seriously wanted it. He wants to prove not only can he get to Super Strong Style, he wants to win Super Strong Style. And, he's the damn dirty dog, and he's got his bone now. He's in Super Strong Style, but he just doesn't want the bone. He wants the gold. He is coming to Super Strong Style, and he wants to win. And, Gene, he was... you mentioned there was some shenanigans, Jonas, but for Gene, it didn't matter. All he had to do was pick up that win and get into Super Strong Style, and he did it. And not just that, he said he didn't want it just that way. He took on Lycos as well and beat him as well. He's proven it to everybody. Gene deserves to be in this tournament. And you know what? There's so many people in this tournament who are such high caliber talent. You know, you can't count any of them out. But Gene Money is, he's worked so hard to get there. He deserves this. And, you know, if Gene Money won, I would be so happy for him, you know, because he's, and for all the fans, because, you know, what a wrestler he is. And he's worked so hard. He deserves it.
Absolutely. And from the Electric Ballroom, Friday the 3rd, Saturday the 4th, Sunday the 5th of June, 3 days of Super Strong Style. Gene Money is going to have his game face on. He's not just going to have his game face on, Mike. He's going to have his big boy pants on. His big boy pants, because he's going to need them. And he's going to need all of the kind of well wishes and all of the good luck. But you hit the nail on the head. I think with Gene Money, we have seen a much more serious side to Gene Money over the last few months. Certainly since we returned back in front of fans in January. You could say even, you know, during the Peckham era, he kind of turned it up a lot, especially in that opportunity he had against Cara Noir. We saw a different side of Gene Money, and I think that's continued throughout. But I am really, really happy to see Gene finally accomplish, like I say, one checkbox on his road to becoming Progress World Champion, getting himself entered into Super Strong Style 16 this year. But like you say, that now a whole new battle and a whole new challenge lays in front of Gene Money. And like I say, he's got to really focus and dig deep and drive like never before. And that damn dirty dog, his eye is got to be on the prize, and now he knows the Progress World title is part of that package. He's going to do everything he possibly can to make it all the way. But any final thoughts on Gene Money? And like I say, finally the damn dirty dog is in Super Strong Style.
Yeah, he deserves it, John, and we know he's gifted. He could do it. He could take the Progress Men's World Championship. We'll have to see.
So, Mad Dog, we are not that far away from Super Strong Style 16, June the 3rd, 4th and 5th, bank holiday weekend. It's going to be a phenomenal 3 days, the Super Strong Style 16 tournament. So many fantastic matches. We've mentioned one of them already today, Kanji versus Gisele Shaw for the Progress Women's World Championship. But as we wrap up, I see you've got the Progress World title out again. I'm very, very privileged to see that on a Wrestling with Johners / Progress Wrestling YouTube show. But that's what it's all about, buddy. Super Strong Style 16 2022 is all about the Progress World Championship this year, and the winner will hold that bit of hardware that you've got on your lap there, Mike.
Yeah, you know, it's a prestigious title, and we look forward to finding out who is going to take this home with them. Obviously, it's vacant at the moment, but whoever wins Super Strong Style on the 5th of June, that is the date it's all going to happen. Someone is going to take this home, but to get there, you've got to win on the 3rd. You've got to win on the 4th. It's going to be 4 matches to get to this bad boy. And, you know, I can't wait to see who is going to be the next person who holds this prestigious title. So looking forward to it, Jonas. As always, if you haven't got your tickets yet,
get your tickets.
Dive out and get them now.
The details are running along the bottom there. progresswrestling.com/tickets, and the link will be in the description to this, whether you're watching it on YouTube or on socials. But get your tickets, because we've only kind of talked about the tip of the iceberg regarding what's going to happen over them 3 days. We've only spoken about half of the competitors that are going to be taking part in the tournament itself. We'll talk about the other half and many of the matches that will be due to take place in our live special Thursday the 26th, all over Progress and all over Wrestling with John socials and YouTube, 7 p.m. You don't want to miss that. There'll be myself, Mad Dog, and many, many guests. But we spoke earlier about Gisele and Kanji, Mike. And I think we're going to kind of close with the promo that dropped today on the Progress Wrestling YouTube channel, aren't we? But that's going to be absolutely fantastic. But before we jump to that, any final words for any of our viewers on why they should be there at the Electric Ballroom in Camden over them 3 days, June bank holiday weekend? Give us a big pitch and a big sale then, Mike.
Well, you know me, Jonas. It's going to be an amazing weekend. And, to the fans, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's attended the shows at the Ballroom so far. that we've put on this year. It's been we've had such a great time putting the shows on for you, and we hope you're enjoying everything Progress is doing. There's so much more to come, and this weekend, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of June, it's the biggest show we've got in the whole year, and we know you're going to enjoy it. It's going to be great. There's such a great lineup of wrestlers who are going to be taking part. We've got some amazing matches. On Thursday, we will speak about the triple threat ladder match for the tag team championships, and there's just so much more. There's so much more, and this is all going to be on the line. Super Strong Style 16. Make sure you're there. Tickets are available now. It's the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of June. And we want you all to be there with us, and we're going to have a great time. So looking forward to it, Jonas.
There we go. So we'll see you all there. Don't forget to join us again next Thursday, the 26th at 7 p.m. sharp. We'll have a live special, part 2 of the Super Strong Style 16 preview show with myself, with Mad Dog, and hopefully some special guests. But as promised, we're going to end on that Kanji promotional video leading us up to her fantastic championship opportunity against Gisele Shaw at Super Strong Style 16. And Mike, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next week, my friend. Thank you.
My name is Kanji. My spirit is damaged, but I hold strong.
The Komodo dragon has a very unique method of killing its prey. First, it'll attack with full force, and when it appears to have lost the fight, it'll back off, leaving its prey to escape. But in the mind of the dragon, it has already won, because the venom of the Komodo dragon is slow acting. And over time, it weakens. And when it is too weak to defend itself, the dragon moves in for the kill.
I've traveled this path before, each step already taken. Should I fall? As long as this world remains, my name will live in it.
I knew about your injuries. Do you really think it was a coincidence I attacked your arm the way I did? I was taking the fatal bite.
All I ask is that my worth not be questioned until the final fall. Judge me then.
Gisele Shaw is the dragon of progress. And now, the dragon guards the treasure.
I take a stand for everyone that has been damaged and felt the urge to stop, because it's never that time. And I will stand before you and make that moment unfold into eternity. Our treasure was taken, the people's honour stolen by a dragon that remains untried and untested. I am the Dragon Slayer, and I will claim back the people's treasure by right of conquest. My name is Kanji.